we got to talk about Kirk Cousins now on the Atlanta Falcons. Just how good are the Falcons now that they actually have a good quarterback? Now, look, there are concerns about how well Kirk Cousins is going to play coming off that Achilles injury. He also is going to be 36 years old, but Kirk Cousins is still a really accurate passer of the football. All right. And even if he does have a slight decline, the NFC South is the weakest conference in the National Football League. You got a group of not great coaches, not great quarterbacks. So if Kirk Cousins' play falls off a little bit, it still could result in the Atlanta Falcons winning the division as long as he doesn't fall off to the point where he just becomes the worst quarterback in the division. And the thing with his Achilles injury and why I'm not really too concerned about it is because, all the Achilles injury really does is kind of take away from his mobility and athleticism, which he didn't really have too much of that to begin with. You don't really think of Kirk Cousins for being able to run around and extend plays. That's not even what the Falcons need. What the Falcons need is for a quarterback who can run the kind of offense that Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris want to run, and that is that Sean McVay offense that's predicated on the quarterback that can operate from within structure, and that's what Kirk Cousins does a really good job of. And if Kirk Cousins picks up from where he left off last year prior to suffering that Achilles injury, not only are the Falcons going to be a lock to win this division, but they're going to do it with ease, and they possibly could win a playoff game or two. Maybe you see them lose in the divisional round. Hell, maybe they make it to the conference championship. That may be me being a little bit overly optimistic, but overall, Kirk Cousins makes the Atlanta Falcons a really interesting team because you don't expect them to be bad. I don't think they're going to be bad, especially when you think about all the close games that they were in last year that they only lost because Desmond Ridder just didn't know how to take care of the football. Kirk Cousins now makes the Atlanta Falcons the favorites to win the NFC South. Like, the Buccaneers are still pretty talented, but they've won that division for the last 2 years when nobody really thought they were going to be able to. I think now, with the division stepping up in talent and getting better coaching, you're going to start seeing the Buccaneers kind of come back down to earth a little bit. Doesn't mean they're going to be garbage, but with the Falcons having all this talent around Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, B. John Robinson, Tyler Algier. You just signed Darnell Mooney in free agency. And when Raheem Morris gets that defense right, the Atlanta Falcons could be a really scary team. Like, Kirk Cousins could make the Atlanta Falcons a Super Bowl contender potentially. A dark horse Super Bowl contender. One of those teams that they make it to the playoffs and they just start ripping off wins that you don't see coming. And all of a sudden, Atlanta's back in the Super Bowl and we didn't even expect it. You see, Kirk Cousins last year was playing at an MVP level. 2023 was the best football Kirk Cousins ever played in his career. And now that he's going to Atlanta, who's going to have a pretty decent offensive line and a great staff and a good supporting cast, even if he does fall off a little bit, his supporting cast is just so good that it's just hard to picture him just being completely terrible and this just being an awful move. So Atlanta definitely is a team that people need to look out for. I think that a lot of people are now starting to hop on the Atlanta Falcons hype train. Hell, I wanted to take Atlanta to win the division last year, but I just couldn't force myself to trust Desmond Ridder and Arthur Smith, and I'm glad that I trusted my judgment on that one, but I don't think it mattered too much because I picked the Panthers to win the thing anyway, so that ended up being a disaster in itself. But Kirk Cousins, to me, makes the Falcons the clear front runner to win the NFC South. I don't trust Dennis Allen. I know Todd Bowles has proved he's a decent coach, but I still don't know. You got a new OC there. And the Carolina Panthers, they got Bryce Young. They got a new head coach and Dave Canales. We'll see how that works out. But I really love what the Atlanta Falcons are building down there in the ATL. And you got Kirk there. He's going to have the chains. This is a really good locker room guy, too. A lot of people really like the rally behind Kirk Cousins. And if you watch the quarterback Netflix docuseries, It's hard not to root for Kirk Cousins. He gives it his all. He's a hard worker. He loves to spend time with his family. He's a simplistic guy. And when you got a quarterback that people can rally behind, that people can, get a little bit amped up for, like when you listen to Kirk Cousins talk, he wouldn't really strike you as a guy that would get you amped up before the game. But Justin Jefferson and a lot of the players on the Minnesota Vikings team, they got nothing but high praise for Kirk Cousins. And they really don't understand why Kirk Cousins is viewed the way that he is as a just okay quarterback, when the last couple of years that he's played for Minnesota have been some of the best of his career. He's damn near been a top 10 QB. The Falcons could be getting the best quarterback play that they've gotten since Matt Ryan won the damn MVP the year they choked that lead to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So Kirk Cousins, he makes the Falcons a really serious team in 2024 this year. I like them to win the NFC South. Really early bold prediction, but I think it's pretty obvious that they're going to win the thing. They got a better team right now than the Saints. The Buccaneers are kind of trying to figure some things out with their cap situation also. Just having to pay Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield. And the Panthers, man, like they're making moves, but still got to see more. But I really love the Falcons' chances of being able to win this division with Kirk at the helm at QB this year.